Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to start an important chapter, Life Processes of Class 10. In our daily life, we often identify living organisms by observing their movement. A dog running, a bird flying, a person speaking, all these things we can able to tell it is clearly alive. However, this becomes confusing when we see a sleeping person or a stationary object. Example, we can tell sleeping cow, green plant. So these examples, they won't show any visible movement, but we can't tell it is not alive. They are alive. Therefore, we need a deeper understanding of what truly distinguishes living organisms from non-living things. The real sign of life, molecular movement. The most important characteristics of living organism is continuous internal activity, also known as molecular movement. Okay, before going into this molecular movement, let us first study about, you people already could have studied about the cells. So, levels of organization you could have studied. So cells, they form the tissues and tissues forms the organ and the organs, they form the organ system. So all these organisms, they are very well organized structures are present in it. Yes. So what happens? These structures or these cells, they are constantly disrupted by the environment. So in order to continuously repair and maintain, they require some kind of molecular movement inside the cells. So even when an organism appears still, many processes are actively taking place inside its body. For example, a student sitting quietly in class is alive because their heart is beating and lungs are functioning. A sleeping baby continues to breathe and digest food. A plant standing still is transporting water and carrying out photosynthesis. See, these are visible activities and it is very essential for life. For this, we can give one example. Just to think of a city at night, roads may look empty, shops may be closed, but still electricity is flowing, water supply is working, security systems are active. So similarly, when our appears inactive, it is continuously functioning internally. So energy is always required. In order to maintain any life processes, we need energy. Actually, we are not producing the energy. Then how we are getting the energy? Energy comes from outside the body. Outside the body in the form of food. How we get food? From the plants we get food, or small animals we get food, animal products we are getting food. Yes. So all these plants, autotrophs, they prepare their own food, and we are animals, we consume the food from the autotrophs. Yes, children. And this food, when enters into our body, it undergoes so many processes and it is converted into energy. This transferring food energy into the body we call as nutrition. So body growth also needs these raw materials from outside. And then a special case come into account, viruses. Viruses show no molecular movement until they infect a living cell. Yes, sir. Because of the behavior of this, scientists debate whether viruses are truly living or non-living. The virus that causes the common cold remains inactive on surfaces, but it becomes active when it enters the human body. Next, we are going to see what are life processes. When we talk about the life processes, these are the basic maintenance activity which is keeping an organism alive. See, this process keep on continuously going on even when the organism is sleeping, resting, not performing any visible activity. Without these processes, life cannot exist. Here, we have shown you the four essential life processes. The first one is the nutrition. Nutrition is nothing but from where we get the energy. So we are obtaining the food from outside, from the environment, and this food is converted into energy, and this raw materials which is needed for the growth and repair of organisms. Examples: human, we eat food like rice, fruits, vegetables, and a cow, they eat grasses and digest. Plants, they prepare their own food using sunlight, a process called photosynthesis. So without nutrition, the body cannot function. So next process is respiration, which is nothing but releasing energy. See, the respiration is the process by which the food is broken down using oxygen to release energy. Simply we can say it is oxidation of the food. Yes. And then some examples. While we are running, breathing becomes faster to supply more oxygen. Have you observed? And then climbing stairs. It also causes heavy breathing due to increased energy demand. Even during sleep, respiration continues to supply energy. This energy is required for all life activities. Next comes the transportation. Transportation plays a very important role. How you come to the school, children? From your house by a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, you come to school. Yes. So you are transported from your home to the school, or from your place to where your destination you'll be reaching by means of this transportation. Here also transportation is occurring in the body. Why transportation is occurring in the body? For example, we are eating food. The food is getting digested in our stomach, and because of the activity of so many enzymes, yeah, this that, so what happens, the food again it will be released into the bloodstream. If it is going to be stagnant there in that stomach itself, then what is the use of consuming the food? No use, right? So what happens, the food will be given outside, and it is just passing in the bloodstream. Along with this, oxygen also goes in the blood. For this, you have to understand about the blood components. You could have studied in your lower classes components of the blood. We have red blood corpuscles, we have white blood corpuscles, we have platelets, we have plasma, we have, yeah. So RBC is a place where this oxygen molecule is getting attached. It is red in color because of the hemoglobin pigment present there. Yes, and WBC, you know very well. It is the soldiers of the body, and platelets also, yeah, helps in clotting the blood. And also this plasma, the plasma is nothing but the liquid part of the blood where you can able to see all these hormones will be there, metabolic food will be there, metabolic waste, everything will be circulated, yeah, by means of the plasma. So in the blood, oxygen along with the food, everything is carried throughout the body. So here what is transportation? Transportation is the process of moving food, oxygen and other substances to all parts of the body. Yes, children. So what happens? Some examples. Like a blood carries oxygen from lungs to body cells. Nutrients are transported to all organs. In plants, water moves from roots to leaves through xylem. Food moves through phloem to different parts of the plant. So without transportation, cells cannot survive. And the last process we call as the excretion, which is a very important process. So after that respiration, everything's over, the harmful waste will be given out again in the blood. If this harmful waste is going to build up in the blood, what will happen? The oxygen carrying capacity of the RBC will make it affected, or the blood may become thicker. We cannot able to move properly throughout our body. So excretion is the removal of harmful waste products from the body. So who is helping us in this excretion process? Kidney remove waste through urine, and the sweat removes excess water and salts. Carbon dioxide is removed through breathing process that we know very well. And plants remove waste through leaves and by means of resins. So accumulation of waste can damage the body. Can you understand, children? So because of this waste products, it is excreted by means of this kidney. Single-celled versus multicellular organism. Single-celled, as we know very well, single-celled is nothing but, yeah, one cell. So some examples like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, yeah, so many things we have. So here what happens, this entire surface of that cell, it is exposed to the environment. So diffusion is sufficient for all the processes, whatever is taking place in this single celled organism. So here what happens, oxygen enters directly through the surface, water is released directly. So even the food is taken in and the waste products are given out by the process of diffusion. But it doesn't happen in multicellular organisms. See, only some parts, for example, the outer skin, it is exposed to the environment. But our inner cells, it is not in contact with the environment. So because of this, in order to overcome all these things, we have a specialized tissues and organs. So gaseous exchange takes place through these things. So what happens? We have lungs for gaseous exchange, and also plants have the stomatal opening. And how this waste is given out by means of kidneys in animals and in plants by means of the stomata. So here we are going to see how these four life processes are interconnected. First, let us talk about the nutrition. So in the nutrition, if we talk, like autotrophic plants, they undergo a process called photosynthesis. Like how your mother is preparing food in the kitchen, so they also need some ingredients for preparing the food. So what are the four ingredients they need? They need carbon dioxide, they need water and sunlight. So chlorophyll is already present in the, where it is present, children? It is present in the plants. That is why plants are green in color, right? So with all the four things, it is preparing glucose. And then what happens? These heterotrophic animals, they depend upon the plants for its food. And then this complex food will be broken down by numerous enzymes present in the body. Then what happens? From the body, then respiration process takes place. So respiration process is nothing but, we have two types of respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. When a respiration takes place in presence of oxygen, it is aerobic respiration. When it takes place in absence of oxygen, is anaerobic respiration. So this glucose molecule, with in presence of oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide, water and energy. But the main difference, the energy liberated here is more than the energy given out during the anaerobic respiration. And then what happens in anaerobic respiration? Glucose molecule, it forms ethanol, carbon dioxide and less amount of energy. And then what happens? This glucose molecule, all this, it is given by means of the transportation system. So in animals, what happens? By means of this circulatory system. So what are the components of a circulatory system? We have heart, we have blood vessels. When we take the blood vessels, what is there? Veins, arteries and blood capillaries are there, no children? So by means of all these things, circulatory system, the blood, in the blood, food and oxygen is transported throughout the body. So what happens in plants then? In plants, xylem plays a very important role. It helps in the transportation of the water and the minerals. It is unidirectional, always goes in only one direction. And then phloem. Phloem helps in transporting the food. It is bidirectional. So it goes in both the directions. So now transportation is over and then everything is given out. And then what happens? Last process is excretion. After the transportation process, the final process is excretion. So all these waste products which are given out in the blood after the all the processes over. So what happens? So in humans, kidney play a very important role. Kidneys filter urea from the blood. We have millions of this nephrons, which is acting like a filtration in kidneys. So the waste will be filtered and the urine along with this unwanted urea, everything will be given out. But what happens in plants? In plants also excess water, on excess things, everything gases, everything will be given out by means of stomata and even by means of falling leaves and resins and gums inside. So by means of this resins, gums, so everything is happening in the xylem part. And the next we are going to see some CBSE exam tips and also memory tricks. Let us see one mnemonics. See, nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion. We can say as NRTE, never rest till excretion. You can remember this. Never rest till excretion. So what happens here? So these are some CBSE questions which are asked often. So life processes with life functions. So here CBSE often asks justify why life processes are essential. Actually, life processes are essential in order to prevent them from breakdown and disorder in the body. Without them, the organism cannot survive. Energy source is always outside. Energy for all life processes comes from outside the body, that is in the form of the food. The body converts it into ATP. So we should not say energy is made by the body. Okay, in an exam, we should not say. We are not making energy. We are converting the food into energy. So food where it is obtained from outside only, we are getting the food. Next comes the diffusion versus specialized transport. Single-celled organisms, they rely only on diffusion process. But multicellular organisms, they need specialized transport because all the cells are not in contact with the environment. Here, this is a very important one mark question. Viruses show no molecular movement outside a host cell, hence are not classified as truly alive. Yeah, we know answer for this. When it is present outside the body, it is not alive. But when it enters any life forms, it becomes alive. And then we should remember autotrophs make their own food. Example is plants. And heterotrophs, they depend on others. It can be like animals, fungi, plants for their food. And water is how it is transported by means of xylem, and food is transported by means of phloem in plants. Here, for a quick reference for your examination point of view, we have given some all the terms is meaning and some examples. First, let us see autotrophs. So, autotrophs, it produces own food using an external energy source. Some examples are green plants, bacteria. Heterotrophs, they obtain food by consuming other organisms. Examples animal, fungi and bacteria. Aerobic respiration is nothing but it breaks down glucose using oxygen and gives more energy. Example human cells, most animals. Anaerobic respiration is breaks down glucose without oxygen, releases less energy. Yeast muscle cells during cramps. Xylem, it transports water and also dissolved minerals always in the upward movement in plants is unidirectional. So from root it is going to the stem, from stem it is going to the leaves. Phloem, it transports the photosynthesis products, nothing but the food in both the directions, that is bidirectional. So some examples are from the leaves, it is going to roots or also even throughout the plant. Yeah, it is moving. Nephron is nothing but the basic filtration unit of the kidney. So each kidney has millions of nephrons. Stomata are tiny pores on these for gaseous exchange. It can be opened or closed by means of God cells. So when we talk about next chapter, we'll be talking about autotrophic nutrition. There I will teach you all these things. Some examples for this is carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is given out and also water vapor is also given out. So what is transpiration? Is loss of water vapor from aerial parts of the plants. So it is creating a suction pulling water up. And these are some previous year questions which are asked in the class 10 CBSE board exam. So in 2025, the one mark question they have asked, secretion of less saliva in the mouth will affect the conversion of proteins into amino acids, fat into amino acids, starch into simple sugars, sugar into alcohol. So here the answer is starch into simple sugars. Yes, saliva contains salivary amylase enzyme. These break down starch. Without adequate saliva, starch digestion in the mouth is impaired. And again in 2025, they have asked in aerobic respiration, glucose breakdown to pyruvate and its further conversion of carbon dioxide occurs respectively in where it is happening in the cytoplasm and mitochondria. So again, all these things will be seeing in the upcoming chapters, children. Just note down all these questions. Yeah, have a screenshot of these questions if you want. The process in which transport of soluble products of photosynthesis takes place in plants is by means of translocation. Yes, and then athletes suffer from muscle cramps while running. Why? How does this respiration differ from aerobic respiration? So cramps occur due to anaerobic respiration when oxygen is insufficient. So the glucose is converted into lactic acid and very less amount of energy. Again, in aerobic respiration, this glucose and oxygen is forming carbon dioxide, water, and more energy is happening in mitochondria. So, aerobic respiration yields more ATP. Most of the digestion and absorption of food takes place in where it is taking place in small intestine, of course. So, complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are occurring here, and villi in the small intestine is absorbs the digested food into the blood for delivery to all body cells by means of what system? By means of circulatory system. So we have come to the end of this introduction part of the life process. So here we have given some important things. Please go through all these things. So what's the conclusion of this introduction part? See, life is not defined by visible movement, but by continuous internal activities at the molecular level, we can define the life. So some kind of movement is continuously happening, which is keeping us alive. So these activities only will ensure the organisms remain organized and function. So what are the four life processes we saw? We saw nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. All these things work together to maintain life. So without these processes, the body would not be able to survive. Even when we appear to be at rest also, our body is constantly working to keep us alive. So this continuous and invisible activity is the true essence of life. So this is the end of the introduction part. Yeah, please subscribe the channel. Wait for the upcoming classes. Thank you, children.